All right. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Zsuzsanna Palmer. I'm here from Grand Valley State University. And the title of my talk is Perspectives about the Role of AI in Adaptive Technology with Implications for TPC Pedagogy. In this talk, I will talk about some research findings that comes from a research I completed with screen reader users. And I will build on that research and think about how we can teach technical and professional communication to make our students more aware of our users and how they use artificial intelligence in all kinds of different applications that assist them with different daily tasks. So we have, of course, seen this explosion of studies about AI, and many of them focus on the text generating capabilities of AI. However, there are now some newer studies also that have been published about AI and specifically their role in assistive technologies and how they connect to accessibility. Here is Bergen and Opegard 2025 study about audio description and image generation. They have also published beginning of this year with Sushi also a study about AI website building tools. And these tools are very important to consider for us specifically as they can be improving the experiences of people with disabilities, or they can influence accessibility in the wrong direction. So we really need to be paying attention to what's happening in this area and work as technical communicators who improve access as opposed to hinder access. So before I go into my research details, I would like to give you a few examples of technologies that are used in order to help people with disabilities to adapt to technologies. For example, screen readers that are used by people with visual impairments. The most commonly used one, JAWS, came out very recently with an FS companion tool, which is basically a help tool where people can ask, questions in their everyday language about how to use the JAWS screen reader software, and it will give step-by-step directions to users with keyboard shortcuts and so on that are very, very user-friendly. Their original help feature was a very long documentation, hard to find anything in it. And this will really help screen reader users to become more able to find answers to their questions about using this program. Same JAWS program, about which one of my aspects of my research focused on, also incorporated the Picture Smart AI. Here I have a screenshot of their web page, and it's basically advertising that this feature will help people get a detailed image description. So users of the JAWS program can focus in on a picture on a web page, or they can look at an image file, and the program will describe what is visible on the screen. Now, these technologies have also moved into mobile devices. For example, the Be My Eyes, Be My AI app that you can download on the phone is one that has very similar image description capabilities. Here on the screen, I have a picture of a phone that's using this application. It has an image of a beach, and below a description. The picture shows a beautiful coastline. To the left is a path that runs along the grassy hill. And of course, users can ask more questions. So for example, if you want to know the color of the path, you could ask the AI to describe that for you. Similar type of technologies, but more hands-on, as in how to use appliances, or kind of facilitating the interaction of people with visual impairments with, home appliances. This specific app, VisLens, is developed to help you to interact with the buttons on your appliance, which usually are not labeled, do not contain Braille descriptions, and are therefore inaccessible. But this technology can help improve that. Um, of course, screen readers and these programs that uh, are either on computers or phones use text-to-speech technology. So voice generation is an important feature of these programs. And more specifically with AI technologies, now we have access to AI voice generations. Again, the screenshot on my screen is of the 11 Labs website that helps you to use voices that are either already recorded, or you can even clone your own voice or somebody else's voice and use it for text-to-speech technologies. The promise of these technologies is really that they generate more natural voices, whereas in the past, these synthesizers, these text-to-speech technologies that were built into screen readers have been had to have been developed for a long time and sounded often very much machine or robot-like. And now we get more into the physical environment, objects that can be used for as adaptive or assistive technology. In this case, what I have on my screen is a description of a partnership between this Be My Eyes app and Meta. And they are working on developing the smart glass or smart glasses that, as they say, unlocking hands-free accessibility for blind and low vision people. And so these AI technologies are getting into devices where they provide a link for interactions between people and the physical world. So we are no longer talking about digital interactions. We are moving into the physical world. Another example of that is a smart cane. There are several developed. I have a screenshot here of the Big Walk brand smart cane that incorporates voice assistance, step-by-step navigation, and all kinds of additional AI features that support orientation and movement across even busy city streets, according to the website. So, so there are these AI technologies that I've just kind of introduced that have been very quickly flooding the market and are enticing people with disabilities that they use these technologies. But the question is, what do people who are the intended customers or users for these products, what do they think about these type of technologies? So I completed 20 interviews with screen reader users. This was an IRB approved study about localization of screen reader software. But in that interview process, I have also asked questions about my participants' thoughts on AI. Do they use AI? What do they use it for currently? And what is their opinion about AI and its place in the assistive adaptive technology arena? I did record and have transcribed the interviews with the help of Zoom closed captioning tool. I also had these interviews were done in Hungary, so the tool is not very good in the Hungarian language. I had to rewrite most of them. But I have generated transcriptions and then used the qualitative methods to analyze these transcripts and assigning codes and generating some themes. So three of the major themes that really emerged from the data had to do with more of one group focusing on general use of AI. What do people use it for? Then another group of codes basically emerged into the theme of the benefits of using AI. And then finally, many participants also voiced their distrust of AI technologies. So I'm going to look at each of these themes and give you a few quotations from my data. These were translated by myself. And just point out what kind of topics, what kind of themes the participants talked about. So as far as just their general use of AI, I've had participants mentioning their use of AI for picture recognition, even within the screen reader software. They also use it for optical character recognition or OCR. If they want something to be read to them. So for example, they have a product box and they want to know the name of the product or preparation instructions or expiration date. I've had one participant who mentioned they use that Vislance app for controlling their appliances. And I had also had several of them, and I quoted two here, who talked about AI for text to speech. One of the participants, participant 15, was an English teacher, foreign language teacher, that's foreign language in Hungary. And they talked about how they can add any type of text and have it read aloud in any voice, in any language. So they really were relying on the capabilities of artificial intelligence text-to-speech features. Another person who had their own radio show was experimenting with creating a robot announcer for the radio show so that it automatically reads text. For example, the time of the day, the weather, and so on. So let's move on to the benefits of using AI. What type of benefits did my interviewees mention? Why were they excited about using AI? One of them here, participant 7, mentioned about the many opportunities that AI provides, and they said they are happily looking forward to the age of robots. They also mentioned how its voice is human-like when it comes to the TTS systems. Somebody else mentioned how AI is faster and more accurate than a seeing person. In general, they were looking forward to a bright future with AI and assistive technology because they were hoping that once it actually starts to be able to act, for example, find a file and send it to someone, that it will really accelerate the work for people with visual impairments. And then finally, the group of people who expressed their distrust of AI, some of them just had a general being worried of that technology, or they said, I am too old, and that's why I am at odds with AI. Others mentioned that AI's lack of emotion really makes it not the best tool because, you can't expect it to communicate feelings. But there also emerged some concerns about privacy, which is, of course, part of the overall discussion. Taking a picture of your own room and then uploading it somewhere, where will it end up, and so on. And finally, there was a mentioning of safety concern. And this is the specific point that I would like to connect to our teaching in technical communication, how we teach our students, because AI, the digital product, meets the physical world. So when you use smart glasses or smart cane, you entrust your own personal health, safety to this device. And so, when AI hallucinates and gives you a result that's not correct about what are the best 10 restaurants in your town, that's no big deal. But if AI doesn't tell you that here's a car coming from the right, that's a bigger problem. And of course, that's why these participants are also mentioning that, the words danger come out in this skepticism and distrust of AI. So I looked at some instruction manuals online as far as how do these companies negotiate this discrepancy between the digital technology and the physical environment. And here I have a screenshot of the Smart Cane, VBox Smart Cane user manual. And it's well described. It's based on text. Of course, most prospective customers would use a screen reader to listen to the intended use case and the foreseeable misuses. But what I found was not exactly helpful is that there was no attention being called to specific aspects of the product. So, for example, the instructions talk about how the device should be held and used using regular cane technique, and using the device alone is not sufficient. But it kind of casually talks about how uh, that could be a problem. The same thing happens where the manual described the obstacle detection feature of this smart cane. And here we have a very long text that describes warnings. So basically, examples such as you might not receive feedback for certain objects, uh, such as space fences or objects with large gaps. Therefore, the absence of feedback does not always indicate a free passage, and VBOC cannot be held responsible for accidents resulting from this condition. So we are saying this doesn't quite work correctly because there is just not a one-on-one uh, connection between this digital technology and the physical world. And then the next sentence is that they cannot be held responsible. But there's no real warning other than the word warning um, appearing here. So what should we do here? How should we approach this? And how should we teach our students who might be creating instructions or might be working with these AI products that are interfacing with the physical world? I have here in the bottom right corner this warning label that many of you might have seen on products that are somewhat dangerous to use. And of course, on the bottom, it says failure to follow operating instructions could result in death or serious injury. So we know that we need to be careful with this specific product, but that does not come across in those instructions that I have shared with you in the previous slides. So how should we make our students aware of this discrepancy, and how can we overcome such issues? I'm suggesting that, again, obviously nothing different than what we are already doing, that the instructions we write, they need to be clear and concise, that these dangers cannot be hidden in the long description text. And we can start by analyzing existing instructions and talk about how they might not be fulfilling that purpose yet. And also working on developing training materials that have full disclosures, such as, wording that warns people that this could be dangerous. And in addition, my final suggestion would be to encourage students to get to know and support user communities, because the technical communicators pride ourselves in knowing our users and being aware of their needs, and and in order to be able to do that with this type of product, it would be very helpful for people who create instructions for these products to be involved in these communities. So thank you. That was my presentation, and I will take questions at the end.